Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in this video I'll be doing my review of Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023. The show kicked off with Chris Sabin successfully defending the X Division Championship against Kenta. This was a good match, a great way to start Bound for Glory in my opinion. It was a classic X Division match. I used to, when I first started watching TNA, I thought that the X Division Championship was like the Cruiserweight Championship. But the more I've watched it over the years and more past Impact and now current, I've realised it's more like an Intercontinental Championship. And it's like the working man's championship, if you will. Because for months now, Chris Sabin has been on top of the X Division, and then we quickly lost it to Leo Rush. He quickly recovered from that, and he is a record-breaking 10-time in X Division champion. But yeah, it was just a really good match. It was awesome to see Kenta on Impact TV coming over from New Japan, and they said I haven't really got much else to say about it. It fit the X Division aspect brilliantly. It showed off the X Divisions well at a big stage at Bound for Glory. And yeah, I think I would consider it a pretty big win over a New Japan legend. And yeah, I would quite like to see maybe someone like Steve Macklin, maybe Joe Hendry, kind of go for the X Division title now. I feel like someone like Steve Macklin would definitely use it as like an option C as a way to get back to the world title. I think that'd be a really good way. And just between Macklin and Sabin would put on really good matches and tell a really good story. So is it, and also someone like Joe Hendry, it could be used to kind of have him go up the card a bit more and be in more marquee matches, which I think he fully deserves as well. But yeah, some really good matches, and this match itself was good. Great way to start Bound for Glory. Chris Sabin still the X Division. Next up, we had PCO defeat Moose, Steve Macklin, and Rhino in a 4-way Monsters Ball match. I thought it was decent. I expected more hardcore moments. The other ones we got, with PCO being slammed into the cinder blocks with thumbtacks on top, and Macklin going through the barbed wire table, they were really good moments. But I just expected more out of a Monsters Ball. There was really not a lot of blood. And yeah, it just compared to when Abyss was doing them, and Eric Young and Jeff Hardy and all these other people have had really good Monsters Ball matches, this really wasn't that good as far as the stipulation goes. But yes, it was a pretty big win for PCO. I fully expected Moose to get the win just because of his world title push. I assume will be coming, well, that we know is going to happen in January. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the feud between Bully Ray and Steve Macklin. I think that's going to be really good. Hopefully some more hardcore moments between them. And yeah, I do feel like Moose would have benefited more of a win, or Steve Macklin. But, with PCO being so old and stuff like that, I don't think he needed this win. But it's still a huge win for him on a big stage. And yeah, just as a Monsters Ball match, it was kind of disappointing. I did expect a lot more out of this one, which is unfortunate. Following that, we had ABC defeat the Rascals to become the new Impact Tag Team Champions. This was a really good match. It was more as a tag team masterclass. I couldn't see anything wrong with it. It started at a slow pace and gradually built up. Some great athleticism from all teams involved. Some great heel tactics from the Rascals that then backfired near the end. And yeah, it kind of lived up to the expectations I had of it going into the pay-per-view. And yeah, there was freaking tags on both sides, and the finish of the Rascals kind of having a miscommunication and the spray paint into each other, went into Trey's eyes. Thought was a really good way to go about it. Very much happy that ABC are back as tag team champions. I thought they're probably, or at least arguably, the best tag team on Impact at the moment, and obviously good representatives of Bullet Club in the opening match and in this match as well, so I'm glad to see that as well as a kind of fan of the Bullet Club. And yeah, it's just smooth transitions all around from all four competitors, and yeah, just a really good showing for the tag team division. And I couldn't really see any other match going down the tag division. I can't think of any off the top of my head tag teams that would have in the position of having a world title run. So yeah, I think this was the better idea, and it's a really good match for the tag division as ABC are the new tag team champions. Following that, we had Will Ospreay defeat Mike Bailey, and what a match it was. In my opinion, Ospreay is by far the best wrestler in the world currently. Look at his 2023 alone, beating Okada, Jericho, Omega twice in all incredible matches, and this match did not let down at all. If you can, go and watch it. It is fantastic. I'd probably argue it would be Impact's match of the year. It's definitely a contender for that 100%, and yeah, for me, it's my match of the night. And yeah, I had high expectations going into this, and it fully delivered. You know, it just was wrestling of the highest quality, beautiful transitional wrestling, great high flying moves, brutal strikes, and a bloody Tiger Driver 93 just is absolutely devastating whenever you see it. He did it against Omega, he's done it again here. It is brutal, especially as it looks like he's setting up for Stormbreaker and then he suddenly just drops him on their head. It is awful to see, but makes the match go up in quality when they do it safely and no one gets hurt. And yeah, it's just, I think Bayley put in a really good performance. He did not look weak in this loss at all. He's arguably one of the best wrestlers on the Impact roster. Obviously, Will Ospreay isn't a regular member of the roster, well, yet anyway, so I've heard. But yeah, it was just an absolutely brilliant match. Mike Bayley deserves a main event push, in my opinion. And if Will Ospreay is coming to Impact to sign in the new year, then what a get that'll be, as I know that WWE and AEW will be after him. And he would bring just absolutely fantastic matches to Impact, exactly like he's done here. I know he's due to face Josh Alexander at some point, which that match I am fully looking forward to as well. I'm hoping it's going to be this week on Impact, but I'm not sure. But yeah, just Will Ospreay is so good, and just, as I said, arguably best wrestler of this year, if not the best wrestler in the world currently. And yeah, it's just so fun to watch him. Following that, we had the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royal. This match was won by Jordynne Grace. I thought this was a really good match. I mean, Battle Royals, Gauntlet Battle Royals, how you want to put it, they're always really fun to watch. I like the variety of surprises / returns. We had the debut of Sonny Kiss, we had the return of Matt Cardona, we had the legend in Juventud Guerrero all show up. I was kind of hoping for a Jonathan Gresham, Jordynne Grace finish, just to watch the husband and wife dynamic kind of have a mini match at the end, which I thought would be very interesting, but it didn't fall that way. The final two was Bully Ray and Jordynne Grace, and they had a decent match. Jordynne Grace showed just how much of a powerhouse she is, lifting up Bully Ray for her finisher that I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But yeah, absolutely brute power from her. And yeah, though the match was pretty quick, like the ending part, I mean, I wasn't expecting like a 20-minute classic, but I was expecting to go a little bit longer than it did. They used the whole man versus woman stereotype really well, but then Jordynne Grace overcame that fairly quickly with some pretty big punches. Or like, I don't know, it's pretty much the Oracle that Eddie Kingston uses, but I think they call it something else for Jordynne Grace. And that got her the win. I think for me, as I want to mention, a standout for this match was Kylan King. I thought that she had a really good match here. She prolonged, I think she was in the final four, which was really good. And her character work since attacking Taylor Wilde, though it was only a few weeks ago, has been really good since, and I can see her becoming like a future Knockouts champion just through the stuff I've seen recently on Impact and during this Battle Royal. And yeah, like in predictions, I wanted Jordynne Grace to win this match and go for the World Championship, and I wrote this whole thing here. No, I can't remember. I wrote this whole thing here about how she'd be a world champion, and then because I pause it when the match is finished, and then she immediately called out the Knockouts champion for Hard to Kill, so that kind of messed all that up for me about how she was deserving to be a world champion. But though she has pinned a former two-time Impact world champion in Bully Ray, and I feel like they should definitely put her in the men's division for the world championship. They're clearly not going to do it now. I'm curious to see if they are hesitant just because of how it went with Tessa Blanchard. Now she like kind of kept it at home. There was loads of problems with it, but I don't think that would be the case with Jordynne Grace. But yes, she called out the Knockouts champion, whoever it will be, for Hard to Kill. I hope she wins the title. I assume it will probably be Trinity come Hard to Kill, but yeah, I'd definitely be rooting for Jordynne Grace, but that's mainly because I'm not a big fan of Trinity. But I feel like they should be doing a lot more than just the women's division for Jordynne Grace, because she is such a good talent just in men and women's division. Speaking of Trinity, next up we had Trinity defeating Mickie James to retain the Knockouts championship. I thought this was okay. The title didn't feel in any kind of jeopardy at any point during this match. I was very set on Trinity winning, and I said like Mickie James just didn't make it feel, like neither of them really made it feel like the championship was going to change hands at any point. It was quite a slow pace. There was a lot of stalemates for shows of respect, which is nice, but it kind of stagnated the match a lot. Like, I know that these two have been around WWE for a long time. I was shocked to find out that this was the first time these two have had a one-on-one match ever, and I even did some research and that is completely true. you would have just assumed that Naomi and Mickey had had a match, but clearly not. But yeah, he said it just wasn't that smooth. I expected more transitional wrestling. It just really wasn't that good. They said it was very slow and just not very enjoyable. I generally don't rate Trinity. You know, Mickey's proven herself on many occasions that she's a very good wrestler, but I feel like, or in my opinion, I wasn't invested in Trinity when she was a Funkadactyl, when she was a champion in WWE, and now. Like, I don't know, I feel like she's champion because of the buzz she caused with Mercedes Moné last year, and not based on her wrestling ability. I know like some people would majorly disagree with me there, but I can't think of any match where Trinity / Naomi has put on a good match and I've enjoyed one of her matches. And yeah, I don't know, it's just, I feel like there was better women on the roster to represent the Knockouts on the biggest show of the year. You know, Deonna Purrazzo didn't even make the show. They must have cancelled the Knockout Tag Team Championship match due to time, I assume. But Deonna Purrazzo wasn't on the show. Yeah, Jordynne Grace won the Battle Royal, but, you know, having a renewed Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace, and then maybe throwing Trinity for a triple threat maybe would have been quite good. But yeah, I felt like this wasn't the best way to represent the Knockouts on the biggest show of the year. And yeah, the match itself was very disappointing, but Trinity is still the Knockouts champion. And finally, in the main event, Alex Shelley defeated Josh Alexander to retain the Impact World Championship. I thought this was a decent match. Both were really good in ring. They targeted injuries really well. And I like the more aggressive side of Josh Alexander, probably about the mid-part way through the match. And yeah, there were some lovely transitions in the closing sequence of the match before Shelley hit... I put shock. It's shell shock, isn't it? Looks like I've completely messed my notes up. But yeah, there was kind of a shell shock and then a couple of super kicks that knocked out the mouth guard of Josh Alexander, which I thought was a really, like, just the minor detailed moments. Then he hit shell shock again and Josh Alexander spiked himself, which then would have... And it then ended the match, and it was a really good way to end this one. It was a match I very much enjoyed. It went shorter than I thought it was going to, but I wondered whether they had time issues, especially as, again, the Knockouts Tag Team Championships just didn't happen on the show. So I assume they were having time problems. But yeah, it was very good for what it was, though. It wasn't match of the night. I feel like Ospreay, my belief, was very, very good, but it was probably a close second. And yeah, I think this is a huge win for Alex Shelley. It definitely legitimises him more as the world champion, as obviously Josh Alexander didn't lose the title, and now Alex Shelley's beaten him, so that kind of makes it more official. Like they said, the commentator said, just as he won, he is the true world champion, which I think, and I enjoyed the good show of respect at the end. And then as it kind of all came to a head, they showed a video, and they announced that Impact is going to be rebranding back to TNA in the new year, which I think is a great idea. I think like a lot of people still refer to Impact as TNA all the time. I know when I'm talking to like my brother who doesn't really watch Impact, or my friends that don't watch it either, I always tend to call it TNA because they know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I think this is really good. As I've read online, it kind of combines the histories of the kind of multiple ways the company has been over the years. And yeah, I think it's a really good shout, and I'm very much looking forward to it going back to TNA. And so we're going to get new titles, and hopefully we get some new superstars coming in, especially Will Ospreay comes in, which I think is the biggest rumour I've heard of people coming into TNA now. And yeah, it's just a really good way to finish off a really good show, in my opinion. And Alex Shelley is still the world champion, and TNA is back. Those are my thoughts and opinions on Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2023. I do put in the comments down below what you enjoyed about it, what you thought match of the night was. Do you think Will Ospreay is going to sign with Impact? Anything like that? Any feedback from me would be much appreciated. I thought this was a really good showing from Impact. I'm going to start covering Impact more on the channel, just to have more content out there. I'm going to stop doing weekly reviews because it's sometimes really hard to watch around work. So it's just going to be WWE pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-views, Impact pay-per-views, and the NXT special event / pay-per-views as well. I'll be covering Halloween Havoc. There'll be a predictions video out for that tomorrow, and then I'll do a review in a couple of weeks after the 2 nights of Halloween Havoc have passed. And yes, really good showing from Impact. Really happy they're going back to TNA. I feel like that's something that a lot of people have been hoping for, and it's just a really good decision in general. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.